Did it? Oh, no, no, no. Don't do this to me now. Hello? 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 Oh my god, I fucking. Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live episode, the 50th episode of That 80s Child, The Generation Y. And my name is Gabrielle. I was having a moment, just a little bit of a moment. I thought my microphone wasn't working, and it is. It's just because I had the live stream thing starting soon that I quickly created today with Canva. So I used to have ones with actual oh my god, music behind it. I had this whole thing like set up when I was like sitting, when I had more time on my hands, I suppose. I don't know. And I probably could have actually made it. We recommend that you use audio stream bitrate 128 kbps. Okay, well, I don't know how to do that. Okay, so the audio streams current bitrate. I don't know what that means. So let's see. Hold on. Starting soon that I quickly created. Okay, you can hear me. Shut up. Shut up, YouTube. Okay, so I am not proficient at video streaming. I don't do that. I record myself and then I edit it and then it goes up on my podcast. That's literally all I do. The only lives that I've ever done were on my Facebook, and that's with my 132 friends that I have on there that could possibly view it. Otherwise, it's not like a public thing. I talk about nonsense things. That's why I feel like in a safe little bubble of these 100 people that don't give two shits about my life. So they're just not gonna like really watch it anyway. I have like the few people that do, and I know that, but that's other than that, it's like, you know. So I'm not proficient. So bear with me. I know that the video that I can see here does not look that great. It looks better in my OBS than it does over here. So I will figure it out. I will do this with this, give me I'll have to try this like a couple of times. Maybe I'll just like do some lives here and there on YouTube rather than Facebook, and you can hear about me and my ridiculous life that I lead. So I'm sorry for the poor quality, but if I was to actually put this up after I actually recorded it, it probably would look a whole lot better. We'll see. I am recording it, so this will go up on Spotify and my website and whatever else. So, yeah. Okay, so like I said, this is the 50th episode for That 80s Child, The Generation Y, and granted, I think I started this in a while ago. I can actually have a look and see when I actually started this. So you're going to hear my click clacky keyboard that I had got myself. My other keyboard, which is my Logitech keyboard. Some of the buttons didn't want to work for me all the time. It still works. It just wasn't grasping everything that I was trying to type. So yeah, so what I wanted to do in this episode, being it live, I was going to do some top 5, but they're not going to be 5. It's going to be probably more, because as I was going into all of the the lists and like, because there's, all right, so I have the top 5 songs I listened to during the 90s. There's way more than I put the 5, so I'm like, I crossed out the 5. I'm like, it'll just be top songs I listened to during the 90s. So I said top 90s TV shows and then top cartoons of my childhood. So I was going to do those as well as discussing why I decided to do a podcast in general, which I can go into a little bit now. Oh my God. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute myself. Sorry. I told people I was going live. Don't call me. Anyway, so as I was saying, I was actually going to see when I posted my very first podcast, which was on my website, and then I pushed everything to Spotify, Apple, Google when they had it. I don't think they have it anymore. 2021. Wow, 4 years ago. Okay, so 50 episodes is not a lot in 4 years, let me tell you, because I see a lot of these people who have only had their podcast out for like less than a year, and they have way more than that. But I I have a lot of stuff that goes on in my life. I'm not the only one. I am pretty much the only one that takes care of my tiny little family. So, I just time, right? And I was also going to school. I graduated in 2023, so getting my degree and all that. That's really helping me right now. Not really. And yeah, so I had a lot of stuff going on, so I really didn't get to do everything. I only did like seasons. I figured like I'll just do as I wanted to put out. Like, I can't watch myself on this because it's such a delay, but I was looking to see if there's any comments or anything, but yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, fun stuff. And if I go into my channel, will I be able to see this live? And so, oh, shut up, don't say anything. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't actually look that bad. It's okay. It's all right. So, I decided to do the podcast because I already have my website, and I wanted to just do more. I wanted to just do as much creative stuff as I could, because I just felt like I was in a rut. I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't doing anything that I felt like I was really happy with. That's why I went back to school in general. And yeah, I just didn't. What am I saying? This is why I edit. This is why I record. Doing lives, like I have my notes, but and I go off on tangents on my podcast as it is anyway. And I know majority of people do that anyhow, but it's just like I like to have some sort of coherent thought, and that's kind of difficult for me. So, yeah, okay. Oh my God, Gabrielle, why? Just share it. Who cares? Live, yeah. I can't spell the, apparently. It's a hut. Oh God. Okay. Anyhow, so yeah, so I wanted to just do more things that were creative, that where I was going to be able to put my creative thoughts and processes somewhere. And the website, I have my blog, I have poems, I have essays, short stories. I really don't have a whole lot. And I have my plethora of stories that I would like to eventually get published. I am actually in the middle of drafting something that actually is moving along quite nicely. I just need to make sure that I'm going through that doubt period that I always go through. Like, who cares about what I have to say? Who cares what I'm writing about? But I actually sent it out, the first 5 chapters, to my beta readers, and now 2 of the people that I have 4 people that I sent it to. 2 of them are my family. So I know that they wouldn't necessarily say, like, yes, you should publish this if it was complete garbage. But I also think that there's a bias there. And also even with my friends. But I do think that there would be a little bit. I think they would be honest enough with me to say, like, I think this is of interest. Like, or that maybe I don't like it, but I think other people would. Even if, tell me that, you know? So I love it. Why are you emailing me about my own life? Thanks a lot. I just want to get the music out. Okay, so the reason why I did the podcast, like I said, is just to explore some other creativity, something else that I can actually put into. Like, I felt like I had all this stuff that I just wanted to talk about, and I didn't know how to articulate it in a way. And I thought a podcast would be really great, especially with all the nostalgia stuff. And it's burgeoning right now with all that, the nostalgia, like people my age and even the younger, who I love it, was like, in high school back in like 2008, I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, when we were, no. You mean like when I graduated in 2001? Is that what you're talking about? Because, I still don't feel like I'm that ridiculously old, but as the years progress and then you see these creators go on and put, whatever the fashion was from like 2010, and I'm like, that wasn't even that long ago. Like, what do you mean? Wait, 2010, that was just yesterday. So, and I know it wasn't, but at the same time, it's just, for me, I know that I didn't just graduate high school. However, I don't feel like it is 24 years ago. And I also don't feel like, my son just turned 18. Well, he's going to be 19 in a couple of months. So he just turned 18. That was yesterday. And I just had him like a couple of years ago. What do you mean? So time is very weird. Very, very weird. But okay, I'm happy that I grew up when I did. I think that I think we as a generation, even if there are negative connotations to millennials in certain circumstances, I think in the sense of us having both analog and digital, and knowing what both are, and experiencing and appreciating what both brought to the table for life, I think that's really unique. And my son, who is a Gen Zer, and towards the end of the Gen Zers, only has known digital. But he is an appreciator of all things nostalgic, mainly because of myself and his dad, like everything that we brought from our past. And he's very much into vintage gaming. So like the NES and the Super NES. That is vintage. I feel like that's old, yes. But I think it's retro when you're going into like the PlayStation and stuff like that. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like retro to me. But anyhow, so yeah, the podcast, I am trying to expand it a bit more, so it's not just like, hey, do you remember this? Hey, do you remember that? While it is that, I also am trying to bring more of my own experiences, because I feel like my own experiences have been maybe a touch different than other people, mainly because I wasn't necessarily, I was alive at the time, but I wasn't into every single thing that the nostalgic 90s had brought to the table. So was I into the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? No. Was I into the Spice Girls? No. Was I into all the fashions of the time? Not really, no. And not because it was something that I didn't want to be in. It was circumstances, life, the way I was, how things were, how people were towards me. That's how I reacted and changed and molded whatever it is that I am right now. The blob that you see before you has come to be. And I think it's an interesting concept to do a podcast, or even just discussing it in general, to see, have a window into somebody else's life a little bit, and also feel that nostalgic stuff that you're like, oh, remember when. And we all get that like warm, fuzzy feeling about stuff that we felt comfortable in and safe, because now we're adults and we have to shoulder all these responsibilities, and we don't really have that safety, and neither do any of the newer generations anyway, of, going through these life stages of, okay, you get through school, you graduate, you get a good job, you buy a house, you get married, or you don't get whatever it is that but the basic step of life doesn't feel as attainable, because everything just seems so out of reach, and we're all kind of like, there's a lot more depression in the world right now. There's a lot of people who are confused and just not feeling the way we did feel. So going and looking back and having that lovely, warm, comfortable blanket that we can go back to and remember what it was like. It's just a nice place to go and spend a little bit of time just to get away from whatever this harshness is that we're in right now. So I was hoping to maybe bring a little bit of that with the podcast, because I was voicing that in my blogs, but nobody was reading them. I feel like I have a little bit more of an audience, not a lot, but a little bit more of an audience with the podcast than I did with blogs, because maybe people don't like to read, and maybe people aren't interested in creative writing styles, which is fine. You don't all have to like that. I get it. So so we'll get back to that. Let me go into some of the top songs I listened to during the 90s. Now, if you've listened to any of my podcasts prior or have read any of my blogs, I didn't, and like I just said, I wasn't very much into all of the most popular things at the time, because for whatever reason, I latched on to, when I was very young, I'd say like 7 or 8, I latched on to Paul Simon, so I listened to Simon and Garfunkel. My mom has a very, very large collection of vinyl, and she would always listen to it. Like, there was always background music going to her cleaning, to her cooking. In general, it would just be playing. And in our old house, before we moved to New Jersey, my dad had a record player and a surround sound system. Like, it was fancy. And she would be playing that stuff. So even while I was playing out in the living room or whatever, the music would be consistently playing. So I definitely get that from my mom, that if you see how many minutes and hours that I actually listen to, because I have YouTube music, I don't have Spotify. Sorry, Spotify. But I have YouTube music. That's a premium, because we watch YouTube all the time. So we get our money's worth in the end. But if you see what was it, like quarterly? I think it was my spring play. No, it wasn't spring. I think it was winter. How many minutes? I think I had like 7,500 minutes, if not more. I can't remember. But yeah, it was, I listened to it consistently on the car ride to work, on the car ride home, while I'm sitting at my desk, because I'm working with spreadsheets and numbers, the most, interesting thing ever. So listening to music helps the day go by. I also watch, listen to this YouTube stuff and whatever. Movies that I've watched a million times, I'll just listen to, because I know it by heart. I can see it as it plays through in my head while I, punch in some numbers, and hope to God that I don't have to do this forever. But yeah, so I listened to all different types of music growing up. And when I went to school and you had everybody listening to something specific, and then those people were not the nicest person to you, and you found out that they liked something, I felt like I was betraying myself if I liked the same thing that they liked. That was my reasoning behind all of this. And I just felt like I can't be like them. So therefore, I'm not going to listen to the same things that they listen to, because I'm not like them and they're not like me. So I listened to other things, but I was listening to other things not to force myself to be different. I just listened to it because I liked it. So I just delved more deeply into it rather than just being like in a passing, like, I like that song. Let's go to the next. I actually am like, what else have they played? How many albums do they have? And can I buy all of them? That's literally what I did. So Simon and Garfunkel, I believe we have all of the records. My mom had a few. I bought other ones afterwards. I had them all on CD at one point as well as cassette tape. In fact, I can tell you, I don't know if I actually discussed that in any of my podcasts, but so why not now? My brother very rarely went into my room and caused mischief. We weren't one of those like siblings where it's just like, get out of my room, how dare you. We had a pretty close relationship. We were actually he's 6 years different than me, like he's 6 years younger, but I also felt like his like mother at certain points. I felt like his mom. But we had like, we would play outside. We would, use our imaginations. We would create videos. We would record ourselves reacting to things before reacting. Things was a thing, as far as I know. And we would also put on radio shows, and we would also host our own restaurant at the house, and we would make up our own menus. So we would do a lot of things. So it was odd. I had one of those you had the dual cassette tape players, and then you had the 6 disc player. I don't know if it was that one. It had to have been, because I think that's the only one that I had in my room that was specific. Otherwise, my mom had a really big boom box that we used, and I had a cassette tape of Paul Simon's Negotiations and Love Songs, which was at the time my favorite album by him, and that I would play consistently. So one time I came into my room, and my brother, for whatever reason, decided to take that cassette tape and pull out the actual tape. And I'm like, so I can't remember if he completely ruined it or if I was able to fix it, but I was livid. I was so angry. Anything, because at the time, music, and it still does, but music was pretty much my salvation to get through school and a daily basis. So when my favorite cassette was tampered with, possibly broken, there goes tumbling down parts of my world that I created. And in order for me to move through a day, I need to at least have those things in order for me to survive till the end. So it felt like the end of my world if he was ruining it. My mom saying like she could get another copy, but it wasn't really the point. It was just like, why did you? I don't know why I did. Like I said, we didn't have that type of relationship where I'm like, I'm gonna go in your room to mess some stuff up, and you're gonna go in my room to mess some stuff up. We never really did that. So it was odd. I don't know. Maybe he was angry with me, and he's like, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna f it up, man. I don't know. And he was small, so wouldn't have classified him as vindictive, but so there's that. So I listened to a lot of different things. So let me get to this list. If you listen to Music and Bullies, yes, Music and Bullies, and I also have a blog list of the songs that actually inspire your memories to just like come out. Let me see if I can find that. Because I actually have a thing. I have my Pinterest up. Fun. Yeah, let's go to my website. So once I find that, so I have like a list of the things that what was it? Memory inducing music. I don't remember what my actual post was all about. So if you go onto the website, GabrielleCataldi.com, I believe I have it like linked in all the description stuff and all that. So this is going to take me forever. But once I get that, so Ordinary World by Duran Duran was a huge song for me at the time because of the words. If you've not heard the song Ordinary World by Duran Duran, I would highly suggest that you do. And the words on there is just like, and as I make my way through the ordinary world, I will learn to survive. And it's just like there's a whole other thing. So besides Duran being ahead of a lot of things in the 80s, this particular song rung out to me in a different way. It was the time, I'm just reading off of my blog, so check it out. Anyway, it was a time where I hated school. I was bullied every day, and I just wanted to escape and be anywhere else but there. When I listened to this song, I remember the bus rides. Yeah, I would take my CD, I believe it was on CD that I had at that point, but I also had my cassette player. And I would have this literally on repeat. It was just consistent. And it was on my lap, my portable CD player, playing the latest mix CD that I made for myself. And I usually sat alone and talked to no one. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. As soon as I was on the bus, my headphones would go on and the music would be turned up so I can't hear anything. They would always listen to Q102. If you're in the East Coast area, Philadelphia, whatever area, Q102 was like that I would listen to, and it would be like some of the music I'd be okay with, and some of it I'm like, this is not what I want to hear, which is fine. You don't have to like everything. But I wasn't a huge radio listener at the time. I was just whatever I wanted to listen to is what I created, hence the CDs and all that. And this would be on repeat. And there's also a remix of this song that was in Dance Dance Revolution. If you've ever played that game, I love that game. We have the game. I have DDR Max, but I don't have the mats. So I'm a little angry. I don't know if they were broken, what happened to them, or if they ripped because they were just like this, like a weird plastic, and they could have just been broken. I'm not entirely sure, but we had one I believe we had one for the PlayStation and we had one for the Xbox back in the day. Both of them, I don't know whatever happened to them. They're gone now, but but in the DDR, there is a remix by Aurora, not the Aurora from the Netherlands, but Aurora that was like a dance group, I guess. I don't know where they're from. Sorry. I had to turn my fan on because I'm a little warm. Anyway, I'm upstairs. We haven't moved our computers downstairs. If you've listened to any of my podcasts, we usually move my son and my computer downstairs because we're on a second and third floor apartment, and no central air on it. It's just window units. The third floor, and this is literally roof on the other side. It gets ridiculously hot, like a furnace, and I can't afford to be trying to cool it because unless I had an air conditioner in every single window, and I mean like every single, like I have probably 5, and I would have to put them, I highly doubt it would even be cool enough. And our computers will overheat as it is, so I'm like, we need to move everything down. And we are possibly moving even further down. We're moving to the first floor apartment because one, it's cheaper and they're redoing it, and they want to redo this one, which is fine because I'll miss this extra space up here, so you might not be seeing this if ever I do the lives after the end of the summer, but that's fine. Need to save money somewhere. Anyhow, so Ordinary World is an excellent song by Duran Duran. And if you were to look up the lyrics, like I'm doing right now, so I understand that I think Simon Le Bon wrote the song because of somebody, like one of his friends had died, and he was writing about that. But regardless of what the actual underlying, what it was meant to be for me, it was the one line here. It's like, but I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world somehow I have to find, and as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive. Because at the time if you are in school and you are being bullied right now, first of all, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that, but know that this is just a blip in your life, and that you will move on and you will become whoever it is that you're meant to become. I might sit here and still flail a bit at 42 years old. Like, I might not necessarily know exactly where I'm going, but I do feel better about myself, even being heavier, even, with my hair not being like the way everybody else's hair is. I don't wear makeup. I don't really try anything to, I'm not here to impress anybody. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to, nor do I really want to. And you will find that when you get out of there. You're in a small little microcosm of people who think they know what is good and bad. It's just like the internet. It's like social media when everybody's like, they all have their opinion and their opinion's right. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. It will never be, never the twain shall meet. So know that I know it's hard. And I can't even imagine how hard it is now with social media and the internet and having people comment, and you might not be able to escape it, but just find some place that makes you happy, with your family, maybe with maybe a small little group of friends. I did have a couple of friends in school. My parents were really good. I had a good home life, and music and writing I kind of just dove into. So however you need to survive it, find it and latch onto it, and then that's your life preserver, and you will be, it'll just make it better, because it helped me immensely to get through everything. It was hard. There were days I was out of school a lot, especially in my senior year. My dad passed away, but setting that aside, I was out a lot. I was absent. I don't have them with me. I think they're downstairs, but I have my agenda books from 1997 all the way to 2001. And well, actually I only have 2 of them, sorry. But I used to have them. But it would say on there like absent, because you're only allowed to have so many days absent. Otherwise you'd have to like make it up for like summer school or like some other way that you had to make up these credits or something. So you were only allowed to have so many days out of school before you were like, well, wait a second, you can't go to the next oh my god, grade unless you actually finish this. So I knew how many days were, so I would like sporadically be like absent. I have a headache. I used to have migraines in high school, so I just would be absent. And thankfully I had a mom who was pretty chill with it. Like my dad, I don't think my dad would have been completely okay with me just being, I just don't want to go in. So, my migraines, you can't see it, but I knew I had migraines. I legitimately did, but I kind of used that a little to my advantage, I guess. So yeah, Ordinary World, great song. And yeah, I said, I'm like, tie into blog post about songs. I did. So Free State by Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode is probably one of my most favorite bands. I've seen them a few times live. Love it. Can't afford them right now. But I know that I think they were touring recently. I don't know if they're touring anymore. They had released another album. Not my favorite, but cool. I'm glad you're trucking on. Especially after Andrew Fletcher has passed away, which is very, very sad. He wasn't that old. Anyway, so Free State by Depeche Mode. Oh my god. Again, it's with the lyrics mostly. I like the song in general, but I just really I love any song that really just speaks to me. And the main part is, step out of your cage and onto the stage. It's time to start playing your part. Freedom awaits. Open the gates. Open your mind. Freedom's a state. So again, it's all about, like, in school, I wanted to break free of the cage that I built myself to protect myself from these people. I didn't like the fact that I was just coasting through, no real personality, to be honest, because I really didn't let a lot of myself out, because if I did, it would just give the kids more fodder to say things about me. So, they would talk about my hair because I used to have really straight hair. I used to wear it in 2 braids all the time. They would make fun of that. So I cut my hair in 6th grade. I had 18 inches cut off, and it turned into really, 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 really very curly. Okay. And it was like corkscrew curls. And it got, because I didn't have the weight on it anymore, it went. So I got made fun of for that. And so it didn't matter what I did to try and change to fit in, because whatever I did to change it, it just would create something else for them to just pick up on. And, I gained weight, I lost weight, I didn't always shave my legs. And it was just like, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know what? Because I just didn't feel like it. Okay. Okay. Nowadays, it's sort of like a statement. I wasn't making a statement. I was just being lazy. But, here I am. Yeah, it was and, it would have been all right if we could actually just wear our own clothes. But because I went to a Catholic school where having a skirt and then you have to wear like these stupid knee-high socks or, what is it? Tights, and the tights could be super hot during the summertime. Or like when you're getting to the summertime, it's not like we had air conditioning. Back in my day, we had fans on the ceiling that did absolutely nothing. Anyway, so I just went, the whole song for Free State for me was just, again, it's literally in the title. It's to set myself free of these shackles that I built for myself, as well as with the help of other people. So, what do you need? Okay.
You all right?
Yeah. I'm live. I don't know if anybody's watching. It's on YouTube, so fun stuff.
I think you have to go.
No, I can see it. There's nobody on there.
Probably it's on YouTube. You just get it on Facebook.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna be taking it off and editing it to put up. Well, I probably won't edit it. I'll just shove it up on Spotify as like just an audio. I'm not doing the video of it.
Okay.
Because I'm recording it as well. So. Yay. Okay. Okay. Love you too. So yeah, so Free State was a huge song for me. Fastball the Way. I love that song. I still love that song. I have it on my playlist. Share Believe. Like, really, that song I can remember coming home with my mom and my friend Peggy from the mall, and that song came on and we were just like singing it like super loud, and I love that song. Don't have that on my playlist. I should put it on there. Sometimes you love a song and you love the song, but it doesn't necessarily need to be played a million times in order, like now anyway, to grasp the idea that I like the song. I have a lot of other songs that, to fuel my imagination, I have a lot of different songs on there because it helps with my process of whatever the heck I'm doing. Delight, Groove is in the Heart. I did not know that came out in 1990. I thought it was... If I could spell, that'd be great. Yeah, August of 1990. I didn't know it was that old. I could have sworn it was, I would have said mid-90s. 95 maybe. But this song actually really showcases how much the 60s aesthetic was coming back into play in the early mid-90s, because I remember going to Fashion Bug and they had like all of these, and even when, if you didn't have to shop in a more like a plus size type of thing, even though I really wasn't even that much of a plus size, but whatever, they had all the aesthetics of like the 60s. So you had the big smiley faces, the peace signs, and the big chunky the mood rings and the big chunky rings that they would have, and anything that was like tie-dye and all of that. And I know like the VW Beetle, when they came out with in the 90s, it was like a revamp of like the old type of the Volkswagen Beetle, and people were putting like the peace signs on it and stuff like that. So, and the flowers. So yeah, this video specifically really like personifies that whole thing. So, I didn't write anything else down, but during, I would say in the late 80s, I would say 88, 89, 90, 91-ish, I was listening to Paul Simon and Simon and Garfunkel, like very heavily, always listening to it, loved it, and anything that was 60s related. So I would be listening to the Yardbirds, I'd be listening to the Byrds, I'd be listening to sometimes the Beatles, and the Monkees was the other thing. So I got heavily into the Monkees. I went and saw them live. My brother had gotten me, my other brother got me tickets to go and see them. That was awesome. And there's only one of them alive now, which that's insane, but I know that everybody's getting older. And what else? So after the Monkees, I got very heavily into 80s music. So I was like, so I skipped over the 70s a little bit. Sorry. There were some songs in there. I liked it. But then I went into the 80s with Duran Duran, then Depeche Mode, The Cure, anything that was in that time. And then, of course, I'd sprinkle in some of the big songs that were consistently playing, whether it be like my mom might be playing the radio, or on the bus, or people were playing it at school, or you just would randomly hear it, that I would be like picking up on. I'm like, actually, I kind of like that. So I would have like, the Spin Doctors, Two Princes, or you would have Jim Blossom's Hey Jealousy, stuff like that. Like I would listen to that current music, but I was very much into other things that the other stuff eclipsed those things for me. So, but I do know the songs, okay? I wasn't completely deaf. So going back to why I'm trying to like go back and forth. This is not going to last more than an hour. I promise you, okay? So the podcast. I don't want to morph it out of nostalgia, but I kind of want to bring in more comparison stuff with today and yesterday, and then maybe some more like some personal most all of it is personal, obviously, everything that I've dealt with, and whatever. So it's but I don't know, I wanted to bring in some other things, or maybe if you have suggestions, should I just keep it the way it is, just do nostalgic things, or just like either going through songs, music, things of the time, and like just talking about it and how it affected it in my life, and then maybe create a different podcast for something else, maybe that to expand more, because you can only do nostalgic things for so long. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much you can consistently harp on it, obviously, and you can like maybe extend it. So if I did like my top songs of this time, I could just do another couple of them, because there's this ton of music that I listen to that I can probably have 5 or 6 episodes that are just about that. So I could span it out, but I also feel like it's going to get old at some point, so I just trying to figure out a way of maybe either just keeping it that 80s child, the Generation Y, because it doesn't necessarily have to be nostalgic, because I am an 80s child. I am the Generation Y, and why not be able to expand it beyond and just like talk about now and dealing with like death of a parent, and a parent with dementia, or like, I don't know, going into like more deeper things. I don't know. Like, what do you think? What do you feel? Like, I'm trying to keep it light when it comes to my podcast, because I don't want to get political. I don't want to get religious. It's like bar rules kind of thing. I don't really want to turn people off to it. I just want to have a spot where it's like, let's laugh about some stuff. Maybe like go make you think a little bit, but other than that, like I didn't want to make it into some sort of like quagmire of emotions that we all have to like dive into, because sometimes you don't want to, but sometimes you do. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you're on there, if anybody is listening or watching. I don't think there is, so yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Comes to my Okay, I'm just making sure you can still hear me. I can see that my mic is actually still going, but you never know. This mic likes to be like, not working right now. I meant to make a cup of tea or get a bottle. I had a cup of tea earlier, but that's cold and gross now, so I need to make another one. I'm not a huge tea drinker. Don't think that I am. I made myself a green tea just out of like, let's just have something different, and I wanted to make another one to have for on here, but I didn't do that. Okay, so back into the lists. So the top 90s TV shows. So these are the ones that I watched with my parents or without. So Sequest, DSV. Watched it with my dad and my mom because we all loved science fiction stuff, and thankfully, and I got to see Jonathan Brandis, R.I.P. And it was not just for him, but I did enjoy that because I loved Roy Scheider anyway. And as soon as, and I mean no disrespect to Michael Ironside when he came in, but Roy Scheider you just can't replace. I'm sorry. So, but I have them both. I think I have 2 seasons. I don't know how many seasons was on Sequest, but I'll find out for you because Google, right? 3 seasons. Yeah, I have the first 2. And then I have, yeah, it was Sequest DSV, and then it was Sequest 2032. Which, if you look at it, it comes up, but now that has just Michael Ironside on the thing. So it's 3 seasons. But I absolutely loved, I loved that. You can watch it on Peacock. Fancy that. I have it on DVD, so it's fine. I don't have to subscribe to something else for the 50 million gosh darn stupid streaming services that we have. Anyway. Ooh, Earth 2. I remember that. He was in that? Was it Tim Curry in Earth 2? Or am I thinking of something else? I didn't know Clancy Brown was in Earth 2. And we used to watch that. Yeah, Tim Curry. There you go. See, I know. Yeah, so, Earth 2 was a good show, too. I just didn't realize. I have to actually double check to see where I can watch that. Nowhere, apparently. Okay, cool. Oh, no, Amazon. Or is that just to purchase it? I don't want to purchase it. Okay. This is what I do on my podcast, by the way. I edit out because I'll like search things. And so you're seeing all the unedited BS that I do. Because then I read on things. I'm like, oh, he was in that? Oh my God, seriously? He's married to what? Oh my God. Stuff like that. I do that anyway, and it's annoying. So I edit it out. So Sequest, great. Earth 2, great show. That only lasted 1 season. So maybe not so great, but I liked it. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Has anybody, I mentioned this probably a few times. Thankfully, it knows exactly what I'm talking about. It had Matthew Lawrence in it. Yep. And Tim Curry was the voice of the bad guy in that too. Check it out. It's just an Americanized version of a Japanese show with like monsters and a hero type androidy thing. And it's just displayed over, a Americanized like show with these people in it. But I loved it. And when did that come out? 1994. It was only 1 season. I enjoyed it. I can't watch it anywhere apparently. On YouTube maybe. Okay. So, yeah. So that's fun. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I didn't actually watch. I saw the movie. And I enjoyed the movie a lot. I especially love Paul Rubens, of course. His death scene, classic, iconic. I think that was the best part of the whole movie. He was the best part of the whole movie. I'm going to watch that if it hasn't come out already, where it's the documentary of for Paul Rubens, and apparently like the video he did prior to that, he like died like the next day or something. I could be lying to you because I could have been lied to by social media. So, but either way, I want to watch that because, and I'll probably cry. It's just like every other. I watched the Jim Henson one that they did. I cried at that because Jim Henson probably, and I used to say I don't have a hero. Jim Henson. Jim Henson's my hero. Plain and simple. His ideas, what he did, his life. Granted, did he take care of himself? No. Could he have lived longer? Probably. Am I a little pissed off about that? Maybe. But his son's doing. His son kept his legacy going for a good amount of time, and I understand that times have changed and things are changed, but I appreciate the fact that it's still around. But yeah, he's definitely my hero. But yeah, I watched that. That made me cry. So I can only imagine what the Paul Rubens one is gonna do. Because I always used to watch the Pee Wee's Playhouse, and Pee Wee's Great Adventure will always be one of my favorite movies. So yeah, when he passed, that was really sad. Like I don't think like, and I'm again, I don't know these people, but they were a part of my life in a different way. So I don't think any death has hit me as hard as Robin Williams' death did. Like I legitimately cried over that because he was just the epitome of like this guy that could just do anything and just make, improv from nothing. And his voice acting and like Aladdin as the genie and Mrs. Doubtfire, it didn't matter. Like he was, the epitome of a person that you don't want to die, and he did. Anyhow, so I didn't watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer the show until later, like after the fact. And I do remember in school there was a girl who was hosting a viewing party at her house for one of the Buffy episodes. Now the funny thing is that I know that Buffy was a popular show, and the girl who was hosting this was a less popular girl, but she still had her circle of friends. It was, and she would actually get made fun of about watching Buffy. So I don't know if I just went to the wrong school and these people just didn't understand life in general and they didn't like vampire shows. Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. So I just went to the wrong school. That's what it was. Anyhow, so I actually started to watch Buffy again because I had one of the subscriptions I had was like for HBO and the Disney Hulu package and all that. So I should pick that back up again because I haven't seen all of it. I know, I'm sad. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Obviously. Was afraid of the dark. I probably am too, but not as much as I was. But I was afraid of the dark. I loved watching it. I guess I just like to be scared, I guess, to a degree. I do hate horror movies, but I'll still go and see them every once in a while if it intrigues me enough. But I'm one of those people, if you go to the movies with me and it's a horror film, I will hide behind my handbag or in my shirt or something because I would jump because I'm just a scaredy cat. I get very invested. I am part of the movie. I am being chased after, okay? Just know that that's happening to me too. Farscape. That came out in 1999, okay? Understandably so, it's at the very end of the 90s. But Farscape, that had Jim Henson puppetry in it, okay? All from the Creature Shop. But Farscape was awesome. If you have not watched Farscape, watch it. It has Cynthia Black in it, who was in Pitch Black. She was also in Haven, and she voices Morrigan in Dragon Age, my most favorite trilogy, because I'm not counting that fourth game. That was a mess of a game. And if you ever watch my Cinema and Controller one, when we ever get that goddamn thing up with my son, that's the first thing that we talked about because I hate it so much and I think it needs to burn in a certain place. It should never exist, along with the Gem and the Holograms movie. Just saying. Star Trek Voyager. That came out in 95. Because I was trying to see like when, I think Next Generation was Next Generation, I don't know when that came out. When did you come out? 1987. Wow. Okay. but it was 7 seasons. So it was like 1994. So it ended in 94, and then I believe Deep Space Nine came out right after that or during it. I think it came. There was 2 going on at the same time, and then Voyager came out in Star Trek Voyager came out in 95. That also had 7 seasons. Good for you. I remember when they had one of the episodes where they go back to Earth in the past, and it's the 90s. So you look at it, and it's so nostalgic to watch it now. I believe at the time it was just like, oh my god, it's nowadays. And I didn't watch Voyager as religiously as we watched Star Trek Next Generation or Deep Space Nine for that matter. I only just recently watched. We saw Voyager. I watched a handful of them. It wasn't like we didn't watch it at all, but I only just recently completely watched all of Star Trek Voyager, and I love Kate Mulgrew. You guys probably know her in Orange Is the New Black, and but beyond that, she's Captain Janeway. Okay, and she is also the voice of Flemeth in Dragon Age. Just saying. The first games. Dragon Age Origins, number 2, and Inquisition. Great games. 2, questionable because they kept reusing things. Okay, anyway, sorry, going off the Sliders. Do you remember Sliders? Love that. It had oh my god. Not actual food sliders, stupid. Oh my god. That's the first thing that'll come up, not the show. Give me a break. Maybe it's because what I'm searching, because I was searching like recipes recently. Maybe. Sliders came out in 95. Oh, same time as Voyager. Quantum Leap. I love Quantum Leap. But that came out in 89. Not a 90s show. I love Quantum Leap though. I should watch that. Anyway, Sliders had Jerry O'Connell in it. I fell in love with him in that. Like, honestly. Who didn't? But that was a good show. I enjoyed that. And I'm trying to see what else recently viewed. I'm like, why does that have it on there? I was looking up Ghosts. If you have not seen the UK version of Ghosts, not the US version, because the US versions are always like a poor comparison to the UK version. I mean, no disrespect to US television, but you always steal stuff from the UK, and they're never as good as the UK. Just saying. Personal opinion. Anyhow, the Ghosts one from the UK, watch it. Great. It's ended. It's done. I think it's only 4 seasons. I think the one for the US is still on because they'll just milk that until it's dead. That's what they do. But excellent. Ghosts UK. Excellent. Watch it. What They Do in the Shadows. Love it. I was just watching that the other day. Anyhow, I know that's over now too, but RIP for that. Top cartoons of my childhood. Gem and the Holograms. As I mentioned, they tried to make a movie. Tried. Failed. And we should just pretend they never tried at all. Like it never happened. Yeah. That would probably be better. We should just erase it from history, actually. And then maybe go back to the drawing board and actually make one. Even, I would be cool with it if it was just... No, I wouldn't. If you want to do a live action Gem and the Holograms, do it as a quote-unquote period piece. It's from the 80s. Do it like it was the 80s and just go from there and just create what it was if you want to do it. That's all I'm saying. Like, you don't need to bring it forward to now. You don't need to make it a YouTube sensation. You don't need to do all this other BS. Just make it the way it was. That's all, If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Transformers, the original. You really can never top that, to be honest. I didn't mind the first movie, and I believe the most recent one that was animated was good. I didn't see it, but I heard good things about it, so I might check it out just to have a look. I think they're starting to learn from the failures of these things, of maybe you should just kind of keep it the way it was because people love it for a reason. Thundercats. Would you be okay with a live action Thundercats? I mean, I guess just as long as you make it properly, But I showed Bryce, I think they had like a newer Thundercats animated series. I don't know how well they did. I never really watched it. Because, the original is always going to be the best. Garfield and Friends. Now, Garfield and Friends came out. When did that come out? I am a huge Garfield fan. So any of the specials and the stuff that came out back in the day, it was, they're amazing. 1988. So it's not 90s per se. Not that I'm going with the 90s. That's fine because obviously no, I'm not. That was a movie. Shows. Excuse me. But yeah, Garfield and Friends. I love that. They had the people. What was it? The something acres, the Happy Acres, I think it was with the off when you had the Garfield cartoon episode, and then you had the Happy Acres people, like the pig and all that. I haven't watched it in forever. Bryce did. Bryce has watched it. And Lorenzo Music is no longer around, so R.I.P. my dude. All right. Gargoyles. I heard that there's a possibility of them making a movie out of Gargoyles, so I'm intrigued. Again, cautious because of how much they have messed up things in the past. So we'll see. But I loved Gargoyles. I think we have that on DVD. Like, that was something. My mom loved that movie, or the show anyway. Ninja Turtles. My brother was a huge Ninja Turtles fan. In fact, my brother, his name is Michael, and his middle name is Angelo. So, Michelangelo. He is a Ninja Turtle. Yep. Beetlejuice, the animated series. I can't find that to watch anywhere, and it's annoying. You can watch it on... Oh, wait. Hold on. You have to pay for it. So, for free or with my subscriptions, I cannot watch it. But anyhow, so... That came out... When did that come out? 1989. How many seasons? 4 seasons. So it was a good show. I enjoyed it. That, and they had the Addams Family animated series. That was very good. Okay, and then you have Reboot. Do you guys remember Reboot? Animated series. For the love of God. I'm not asking you how to reboot my damn piece. You can watch that on Amazon Prime if you are a Prime subscriber. You can watch it right now and enjoy. That was from 1994, and that was like the pinnacle. Like, you were watching, and you're like, look at these graphics. These are awesome. Like, I cannot believe it. So, when you watch it now, you're like, I mean, it's still cool. It's still cool, but you're like, yeah, it's not the pinnacle, but I mean, for that time, yeah. And Muppet Babies. I love the Muppet Babies. This is not everything. I just wanted to go through a couple of things because I'm already over the hour mark. But the Muppet Babies that was in 1984. So the final was 1991. That lasted a long time. I love the Muppet Babies. That was like my go-to. That and Fraggle Rock. I should have put that down, Fraggle Rock. That's not a cartoon, so technically would that be under TV shows? Good question. Fraggle Rock was, like I said, I loved everything Jim Henson. So, Labyrinth is probably up there with my favorite movies, along with, The Dark Crystal I like. Obviously, it's great, but I don't think it's not like my favorite movie. I won't go back to watch it a million times, but I like it. Labyrinth I will go back and watch. It's a classic, obviously. Legend, I know that's not Jim Henson, but Legend I will watch. It's probably one of the few Tom Cruise movies I really like, because I don't really see him as Tom Cruise in that movie. He's just this guy who's named Jack in the movie, and it's try not to see him as that. Anyhow, but the rest, yeah, Tim Curry as evil, the devil, chef's kiss. He's coming out. Do you know that Tim Curry's coming out with a memoir, which I kind of I don't know when that's coming out. It's coming out this year, but I kind of want to get that going in with my book collection of, I'm trying to read 15 books this year. I read 17 last year, but I was sitting at home for half the year with my mom, so I had a lot more time to read. I think I read like three books in a month, which is crazy for me. I know that there's people who read books like more than one a week. If you're like really, I'm not a fast reader. Two, like I have a million other things that I'm gonna do besides read, and that's why I read before bed. So I have to make time to put that in, and I have to really enjoy the book, because there's books that there are like lots of people love, and I'm like cool, let me get into it, and I can't. I just can't. So I mean, it could just be that rebellion inside of me, like saying like everybody loves this, so therefore I should not like this as either. It's like something I've never grown out of because it's just inherent in me now. But so yeah, that's all I have written down for that. I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a mishmash alive and whatever, because it's like the 50th episode. It's a little bit of a milestone. Although I've been doing it for 4 years, I should probably have like 400 episodes by now. But I've been very regimented with the last, I'd say, 6 or 7 episodes. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I have a schedule. I record on Saturday. I record and edit on Saturday, and it posts on Sunday. And I've been on to the point where I've been recording and editing for the next week, so I'm ahead. So this one being live, I might just shove up on Spotify as is, not edited, so you can get the experience of me just babbling on about stuff and me talking to Bryce as he goes by. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this random ass episode of nonsense. But I think my next episode will be on childhood nightmares. As I said, I didn't really want to get very like I didn't want to get like too like let's feel our feelings. But I think childhood nightmares is an interesting idea, like, because I was trying to figure out some other things to talk about. I did that. I had the childhood nightmares one. I actually had written out and edited, or not edited, but like outlined, and it was supposed to be episode number 48. But I had come up with these other, like the board games one and the books, because I wanted to talk about it. So I'm like, okay, we'll just push this other one back. So this one should be, the childhood nightmare should be the next one. So if you're not that interested in it, then you don't listen to it. But I have a bunch of other ideas, so I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to the next 50 episodes. Hopefully I can keep it going for that long, and like actually like keep posting and not like phase out somewhere. But I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life. It's not that I don't currently, but I have a little bit more time to sit and like think about things instead of consistently like, or I'm just so tired because I just can't even get out of bed. I'm so depressed. But I'm better. I'm a little bit better, so we're gonna go with that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will check out all the other episodes, the other 49 episodes. They're on my website, GabrielleCataldi.com. YouTube here, you can get all of them on here, as well as Spotify. And this will be up on Spotify thereafter. I just didn't know. This whole week, I meant to go on and just like figure out what I needed to do in order. I believe it would have just been automatically uploaded. But I didn't, because, I'm a procrastinator. But I have it recorded, so it's fine. And I'll just shove it up there, and I hope you enjoy it. And then the next one will be normal. So whatever that is. So I hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend, and thankfully I have off tomorrow. Thank God. I unfortunately have to be part of a sit down chat with one of the vendors for the company I work with, and because we have to go over their invoices because they're just not getting it, I guess. I don't know, or they just don't have the information on there for us to make it easy to actually like code it properly and whatever. If you have like a million different spots and you're like, well, what's the address? They're like, oh, it's in London. Well, where in London? London's a pretty big place. Why don't you pinpoint? Give me a friggin' address. Anyway, so I'm not looking forward to it, because I'm one of those people, like, if I'm at work, I'm doing my work. I really don't want to be pulled into something. I don't get paid to have this much responsibility. So I'm just saying. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good rest of Sunday, and you have off tomorrow if you're not working in some other form of things. If not, I'm sorry. You have to deal with people. more power to you because I can never do it. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this random ass episode. And I hope you check out the other ones. Thank you again for joining me. And if you haven't, thank you again for looking at it later. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. And this is That 80s Child, the Generation Y. My name is Gabrielle. And on to the next.